The email arrived while I was organizing files in my cubicle. Mandatory meeting and conference room A, all accounting staff. I glanced at my sister Sarah's office, her nameplate gleaming with senior financial manager, while mine read simply account coordinator. She caught my eye through the glass walls and smirked, adjusting her designer blazer. I was used to her condescension. Ever since I chose to start working right after high school instead of going to college like her, Sarah had treated me like I was beneath her. When she helped me get an entry-level position at her company 2 years ago, she made sure everyone knew it was charity for my uneducated sister. What I never told her was that while she spent 4 years getting her finance degree, I've been taking online courses in forensic accounting and computer security. My entry-level position was perfect for what I really wanted to learn: how money actually flowed through major corporations. The conference room was packed when I arrived. Sarah stood at the front with our CEO, Mr. Richardson, looking grave. "We've discovered significant discrepancies in our accounts," she announced. $50,000 is missing, and we traced the unauthorized access to someone in this room. My heart started pounding as she clicked to the next slide, showing login records from my employee ID. "The evidence is clear," she continued, her voice dripping with fake regret. "My own sister, who I gave a chance despite her limited qualifications, has betrayed that trust." Security guards appeared at the door as Sarah's words hung in the air. "We've already contacted the police," she added. "Though I'm willing to show mercy if you confess now, Lisa." I stayed silent, my hands steady as I gathered my belongings. I'd seen this coming for weeks, the way Sarah had been asking me to cover extra shifts, insisting I use her computer since mine was being upgraded. I documented everything, including the keylogger I'd discovered installed on my workstation last week. As security escorted me out, Sarah's voice carried down the hallway. "I guess it's true what they say about uneducated people. They always resort to stealing." What Sarah didn't know was that I'd been quietly building my case for months. The day she helped me get hired, I noticed irregularities in the company's books, patterns that suggested long-term embezzlement. I'd started tracking everything, watching as small discrepancies grew into larger ones, all leading back to one source: my perfect, educated sister. I spent that evening in my apartment, not crying as Sarah probably expected, but organizing my evidence. The keylogger she planted had been child's play to detect and document. I let it stay, curious to see her next move. Sure enough, she used it to frame me for transfers she'd been making for years. My phone rang around midnight, a number I didn't recognize. "Ms. Lisa Thompson, this is Charles Richardson." The CEO's voice was different from his office persona, sharper, more focused. "I saw something interesting on our security cameras today. Something about your sister installing software on your computer last week. Would you be willing to meet me tomorrow morning?" I smiled, thinking of the evidence folder on my encrypted drive. "Of course, Mr. Richardson. I have some things you might want to see as well." The next morning, I arrived at a small cafe far from the office. Mr. Richardson was already there, along with a woman he introduced as Deanna Chen from corporate security. "We've been investigating financial irregularities for months," Diana explained. "But someone was always one step ahead, covering their tracks. Until you arrived." I pulled out my laptop. 2 years ago, Sarah helped me get hired because she needed access to a clean employee ID for larger transfers. She'd been skimming small amounts for years, but she was getting greedy. She didn't think her uneducated sister would notice the patterns. Diana's eyes widened as I walked them through my documentation. Years of suspicious transfers, all technically authorized but just irregular enough to raise flags if you knew where to look. Sarah's perfect record had protected her from surface-level audits, but she'd gotten sloppy once she thought she had me as a scapegoat. "The police are already investigating," Mr. Richardson said quietly. "But we needed this: proof of premeditation, documentation of her methods. The hidden camera footage of her installing that keylogger was damning. But this," he gestured at my carefully organized evidence, "this shows the whole pattern." I nodded and played my final card. "There's something else you should see." I pulled up records of identical patterns at Sarah's previous 2 employers, smaller amounts but the same methods. "I think you'll find she's been doing this for quite a while." My phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. "I hope you're happy living on unemployment. No one will hire a thief." I showed it to Mr. Richardson, who actually chuckled. "She still has no idea. Does she? My sister always assumed that without a college degree, I was stupid, I replied. She never bothered to check what I was actually learning all these years. That afternoon, Sarah was arrested at her desk. I watched from Mr. Richardson's office as she was escorted out, screaming about mistakes and family loyalty. Her designer blazer didn't look quite so impressive with handcuffs as an accessory. The evidence was overwhelming. The keylogger she'd installed had captured her own login credentials, which she'd used to make transfers under my name. The hidden cameras showed her accessing my computer after hours, and my documentation provided the historical pattern that turned a single instance of fraud into a career-long crime spree. As Sarah was led away, I received another text, this time from our mother. How could you do this to your sister? She gave you a job when no one else would. I didn't respond. They'd never believed in me anyway. Mr. Richardson cleared his throat. Miss Thompson, we find ourselves in need of a new senior financial manager, someone with experience in forensic accounting and a demonstrated ability to detect fraud. Would you be interested? I thought of Sarah's nameplate, her designer clothes, her constant reminders of my limited qualifications. I'd need to finish my certification first, I replied. I'm only 2 classes away. He smiled. Take all the time you need. The position will be waiting. That evening, as I packed up Sarah's office, now mine, I found a photo from her college graduation. She was beaming at the camera, holding her diploma like a shield. She'd spent years building an image of success while slowly stealing from every company that trusted her. I'd spent those same years actually learning, growing, preparing. The next text from Sarah came from county jail. You have to help me. I'm your sister. I placed her graduation photo in a box with her nameplate and designer blazer. The police would probably want them as evidence. No, I typed back. I don't have to do anything. Educated people should know better than to commit fraud. Then I sat down at my new desk, opened my laptop, and started reviewing the company's security protocols. There was work to be done, and I'd earned my place at the table, no degree required. Updates from the prosecutor's office arrived regularly over the next few weeks. Sarah's previous employers were pressing charges, her perfect reputation crumbling as each new investigation uncovered more theft. Our parents, finally forced to face the truth about their golden child, stopped offending her and stopped attacking me. Mr. Richardson implemented every security recommendation I made, and the board approved a complete overhaul of our financial monitoring systems. I still attended my online classes, but now the company was paying for them. Turns out experience and skill matter more than how you got them. Sarah's preliminary hearing was scheduled for next month. Her lawyer had reached out, suggesting I speak on her behalf about our close family bond. I declined. The evidence would speak for itself, just as it had all along. My new nameplate arrived today. Lisa Thompson, Senior Financial Manager and Security Compliance Director. Not bad for someone who chose a different path to success. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about proving them wrong all along. Sarah's preliminary hearing fell on a rainy Tuesday morning. I sat in the back of the courtroom, watching my sister shuffle and wearing an orange jumpsuit instead of her usual designer clothes. She'd lost weight in county jail, and her carefully maintained highlights were showing dark roots. When she spotted me, she mouthed, "Please help me," but I kept my face neutral and opened my laptop to take notes. The evidence presentation took hours. Deanna Chen testified of the security footage, walking the court through clips of Sarah installing the keylogger after hours. The forensic accountant I'd hired presented my documentation, now expanded with records from her previous employers. Each slide showed the same pattern. Small discrepancies growing larger, all traced back to Sarah's access credentials. During a break, our mother approached me in the hallway. She looked older than I remembered, her confident posture replaced by a worried slouch. "Lisa, please," she begged. "Sarah made a mistake, but she's still your sister. If you speak as a character witness, maybe." "A mistake?" I interrupted quietly. "She stole over $200,000 from 3 different companies. She tried to frame me for it. She would have let me go to jail, Mom. That's not a mistake. That's who she is. But she helped you get a job. Without her, I would have found another way to succeed. I always do." I gathered my belongings. She didn't help me get that job out of kindness. She needed someone to take the fall when she got caught. The only mistake she made was underestimating me. Back in the courtroom, Sarah's lawyer tried arguing that her previously exemplary character should be considered. The prosecutor countered by playing the security footage audio of Sarah mocking my education while setting me up to take the blame. The judge's expression hardened with each recording. "Your Honor," Sarah's lawyer attempted, "my client's sister holds a senior position at the company now. Surely that demonstrates the family's commitment to." "Ms. Thompson earned that position by uncovering your client's crimes," the prosecutor interrupted. "The same crimes Ms. Sarah Thompson tried to pin on her sister because she assumed no one would believe someone without a college degree." Sarah crumbled visibly at that, finally seeing how completely her plan had backfired. The preliminary hearing ended with her case bound over for trial, bail denied due to flight risk. As she was led away, she called out, "Lisa, I'm sorry. I didn't mean." I packed up my laptop and left without looking back. The next few months brought changes I never expected. Mr. Richardson promoted me to Vice President of Financial Security, creating a new department focused on preventing exactly the kind of fraud Sarah had committed. My story spread through industry circles, leading to consulting requests from other companies wanting to audit their security protocols. Sarah's former colleagues, who'd once looked down on me at her urging, now sought my advice on career development. "College isn't the only path to success," I told them. "It's about what you learn, not where you learn it." The prosecution offered Sarah a plea deal, 15 years with possibility of parole after 7, in exchange for a full confession. She took it, probably hoping to maintain some control over the narrative. But her confession revealed even more than we'd known. She'd started stealing in college, using student organization funds to maintain her expensive lifestyle. After graduation, she refined her methods, always staying just ahead of detection, until she decided to set me up as her fall guy. The day of her sentencing, I finally agreed to meet her in the holding cell. She clearly practiced her speech, tears falling perfectly as she spoke. "I was jealous," she admitted. "You were always so capable, making your own way, learning what you wanted. I had to follow Mom and Dad's perfect plan, get the perfect degree, live the perfect life. But it was never enough. So you decided to steal what you couldn't earn," I finished, "and blame it on me because you thought no one would believe I could catch you." "I'm your sister," she whispered. "Doesn't that mean anything?" I stood up. "It meant something when you helped me get hired. It meant something different when you tried to send me to prison. Now it just means I know exactly who you are." The judge sentenced her to the agreed-upon 15 years plus restitution. Our parents sat in the front row, finally accepting that their perfect daughter had built her success on lies. They tried to approach me after the sentencing, but I had a meeting to attend. That meeting changed everything. A major financial security firm had heard about my work on Sarah's case. They wanted to partner on developing fraud detection software based on my methodologies. The contract would make me a millionaire several times over. "We love that you learned this through experience," the CEO told me. "Anyone can follow textbook methods. You found patterns others missed because you looked where they didn't think to look." As I signed the contract, my phone buzzed with a message from the prison. Sarah had lost her appeal. She wanted me to help fund her commissary account since our parents couldn't afford to support her anymore. I deleted the message without responding. Later that week, I got an interesting email from Sarah's last victim, her previous employer. Their audit had revealed that she'd hidden some of her stolen funds in overseas accounts. They wanted to hire me to trace the money. The fee they offered would cover a down payment on the house I'd been eyeing. I took the job, of course. Let Sarah sit in prison, knowing that with every case I solved, every fraud I uncovered, I was building the career she tried to steal from me. Her perfect degree hung on a prison wall, while my experience opened doors she never even knew existed. Our parents finally stopped trying to contact me after I blocked their numbers. They'd spent years praising Sarah's academic achievements while dismissing my practical experience. Now they could spend years visiting her in prison while reading about my success in the financial press. 5 years after Sarah's arrest, I stood at a podium accepting an industry award for innovation in financial security. My online degree hung in my office alongside certificates from specialized training programs. Proof that education comes in many forms. A reporter asked about my unusual career path. "Success isn't about where you start," I told her. "It's about paying attention, learning constantly, and being ready when opportunity appears." Sometimes the best opportunities come disguised as someone else's attempt to destroy you. Sarah still writes sometimes through the prison email system. She's teaching other inmates about finance, she says. Claims she's changed. Maybe she has. But her last email caught my attention. I'll be up for parole in 2 years. I've learned so much from my mistake. Maybe you could hire me. Give me a chance I once gave you. I archived the email without responding. Some lessons take longer to learn than others. Sarah taught me that family isn't about blood. It's about trust. She broke that trust, and all the degrees in the world can't repair it. My new fraud detection software launches next month. It's designed to catch exactly the kind of schemes Sarah used to commit. In the end, her attempt to destroy me gave me the knowledge to help others protect themselves. That's a kind of justice even she couldn't steal. The company's annual report came out yesterday. There's a whole section about our new security protocols, complete with a photo of me at my desk. No designer clothes, no fake smile. Just the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly what she's worth. Sarah will probably see it in the prison library. I wonder if she'll finally understand that she never gave me a chance. She gave me a target, and I've spent every day since then proving that the best revenge isn't just success. It's success they never saw coming.